light-hearted souls. Thank you for joining me, Crimey Queen. And this is where we are doing a further exploration on sexual trauma. Oh, it does not sound exciting, but it is promising. Okay, and this is where we can even learn to be the alchemists in our lives, where we use our skills, our talents to transform the energies that we have been given. So, in this video, I'm going to cover the numerical aspects, the numerical value of. Yes, it's a value because it's energy. It's the numerical value of sexual trauma. All the purpose for this is so we can see, although we've covered a little bit of that in my first video, the introduction on sexual trauma, but we will look at how the gods actually play out. And of course, this is about getting to know the gods, getting to know how they function in our lives, how we can use their characteristics, their templates, because a template has been formed there as well, and how we can use that to transform our lives. So stick around, get a cup of tea, whatever it is, because somehow there is going to be, even if it's a mix of flavors, but I'm hoping you get something delicious to take with you. So it's like maybe having you go for dinner and you think, oh, well, the main course was, it's a meal, but however, you may enjoy the company you're with or the conversation you had. So I'm hoping you do find something from here to be of use to for your recovery or your cultivation of self-love, because this really harbors on the cultivation of self-full love. As I say, I don't say self-love, I say self-full love, because I feel that this is a way, I had to find a way to express the depth of what I truly wanted to experience. So there we go. And so we in the first video we covered sexual trauma, and we saw that sexual actually equals 19, and of course 19 is 10 when we add 1 plus 9. This and we notice it's 19. Now the what correlates here, because here I also heard myself saying and that everything is sexual. Creation is sexual. That's why they say sex cells. When we say sexual, it's that it's like electricity. It's the negative and the positive. Of course, you have earth, which is kind of neutral because everything comes from earth anyway. And so I like that. Earth is neutral. Okay, so if you're new to this channel, this is what everything we do here, it anchors onto this sacrifice template. We wanted to understand the meaning of sacrifice, and we have actually discovered so much through this journey. We have discovered that we add a makeup or the construct of 14 gods. Oh, it's so amazing that I began watching the Orphan Black or Black Orphan, whichever it's a series, and that actually rests on my in my videos where I said I saw that we are the construct of an experiment that of 6 women. And I mean, I hadn't seen this. When I did this video in 2017, I was surprised to see that series or whatever it was, I think it was 2013. So, well, I'm not, I love movies, but I don't watch them much. Okay, so especially series, I think they just take so much time when I want to do so much, so many things. However, I am valuing the essence of what is being taught here. Okay, so we have had this here to understand this. If you're new to numerology, how I do numerology here, it's still the Pythagoras module of numerology. However, I do use a lot of spiritual insight to make meaning of what we do. But numerology is really the tool. Numerology, synchronicity are tools, are languages, our divine languages, in essence. Okay, so and the number 1 and 9 tells me that the word sexual fits in here. It just fits in here. So of course this is 46. I think it comes to 46 or 10. Yes. Should we do this again? Because I know we've done it several times. Sacrifice is 46 and it's 10. So 10 actually is the same as 1 plus 9. Okay, here we are looking at, we are first going to examine sexual again. Now, I just mentioned that we are the construct of 6 entities. There's 6 on the clock as well. So we have 6 letters right here. And we've, of course, this is like saying everything. When we look at the words, the words kind of want us to pay attention. I'm going to use my feather. So we see sex. Of course, we know it could be male, female, or them, or he, her, whatever it is. Excuse the terminology that I'm using here, but I'm making reference to the Bible. It's like when he created he, him, and he created male, female, and so on. So, and it's like saying you all, it's like you all are of sex, and which is just exactly what I'm saying. Now let's look at the word 19, and we'll also look at 10 and break this down, because I'm just going to see how the numerical value resonate with the gods, and which of the gods that uses, that has this. So from here we could say with 19, the 1 is actually the called God. So here, when we use the called God or the God of callings, so for instance, it's like we are called this. We can see here, called is also of 6 letters, and of course we have the numerical value of 1. So called, it's like you are called this, and of course 1, we have done this here. ONE is actually 16. 1 plus 6 is 7. That means that is total, the entirety of all that there is in creation. So you're creating something, and it's going to come to whatever it is, it becomes 1. It is whole. Okay, whole of whatever that it means to you. Then we have, of course, 9, and 9 here could be, of course, the god of breath or the god of planting. So here we see planted is also of, well, it's of 7 letters, and breathe is of 8 letters. And so we see, of course, we have another 6 here. They have the numerical value of 6. 9 is actually 6. And planted is 9 and is 6. So we are looking at here in 19 as the God who called, and of course breath, which is what gives life as far as we know, or planted. 9, but I mean called here, we have a 6. This is created. This is Genesis. Genesis equals 33. 3 plus 3 is 6. Now this is what I was finding very interesting with the series I was watching as well. There were 6 main, of course, main people to begin with highlighted in this creation, or 6 as 33. Christ died at the age of 33. That was a new creation, just as we are in this realm as well, because in 2022 you could say that is the new Genesis is happening right there. Although that in itself has like segments of creation, which we won't go too much into right now. So back to trauma 10. we know that all of this that we have been learning, the number 10 is very crucial, as in the word 10, because in the scriptures where where we saw the first indication of light or life, when it is said in Genesis of chapter 1 verse 3, let there be light, and there was light. That came to 24. Let there be light is 12, and there was light is another 12. And so we see that these two, 3, 3 became 6. This is the first set of creation we could see that has evolved into how Jesus came into being, and of course died at the age of 33. I'm just looking at Jeremiah, also equals 33 here. So in Genesis of chapter 1, verse 3, let there be light. And this is where I have done videos on this. If you just do anything on let there be light, well, a lot of things might come up, but I hope you do get what you need. And so here it is said as well, so let there be light. And God said, because this is God said is the God of words, the God who gives the commands. And that was an addition, or another person coming. That's another God putting his bit into creation. And he says, let there be light. And so, and there was light. So we see that there was a mathematical construct. This is where the numerology is. But because this Bible is written in layers of wisdom, we tend to get lost in it. But taking the essence of let there be light, the command, and there was light, which is the result, we see that there was a direct correlation of like 12. 12 zodiac signs, they really represent light. 12 months of the year. Of course, you need the months to show what the year is. Hours of the day, or 12 disciples, 12 cranial nerve, whatever 12 is representing, it's showing light upon the sense of wholeness. So here we know, for instance, 10, let's look at the word 10, because 10 is actually, again, giving a very clear indication of like male, female, or opposites, or polarities. And this is why it is important to understand this is that the male factor of numerology. The numbers are like the male or masculine, and then I call it, when they're dressed in their glad rags, I call them 10 becomes 12. Now, of course, when we do the numerical value for the word 12, which I'm just doing this, TWELVE, is 5435552. 5, 10, 15, 22, 24. 2 plus 4 is 6. So again, we see this is why perhaps Jesus Christ had his 12 disciples too, because that is the embodiment, or the emblem of creation again. So creation is not always just happening in it takes different form, because it's energy that we are transforming. Always being the alchemists, we are co-creators, and we are creating, just like creation is happening in technology in different ways right now. So we've seen that here. So we've seen 10 comes as 12. We have seen 12 comes as 6, which is what we were talking about. But here we have 2, of course, 5, 5, in case you're wondering how this has worked out. But 1 plus 2 is 3. So we see how 3 is actually the M, the 3, the W, and the E. And this is what I call wholeness, the 8-petal flower. I call this the 8-petal flower. You are W because we are W. Wherever you are facing, it's to you. Now, again, this is why this is the language. It's to you. And it's like saying, for instance, you are whole because 8 is a set. A set, you two, you and I, we are a set. Wherever you are facing is a set. So W, this is one W, and this is another W. This is it. Like your two breasts, your two nostrils, your two eyes, your two whatever, we are talking about W. Now, of course, the word double actually equals 5. And so we can see as a W, literally as W, has the numerical value of 5, which is what we are. Okay, now 5, of course, as put 5, the figure 5, in her glad rags, as in letters, comes to 24. This is FIVE, comes to 24, and 2 4 plus 4 is 6. Now I just want to do the numerical values, so let's and not make this extremely long, but let's look at this. Let's look at this. And so we have another way we want to look at 10. We have done this on the last video. We also saw, so let's remember we've got 10 as or 3, which is where you were said you are going to be set free. But that is, of course, breaking free. You break free and then you are set free. So you're moving from one free and you're going into another. This is about being W. Your W is always with you, but sometimes you need to break from that W. So we had 1 as in 1, O-N-E, and we also had not, N-O-T. So we had 1 equals 7 and not equals 4. This gave us the 11. We have done, this is our anchor, you could say, because the created God equals 11 and everything seemed to come back to the created God. So here we have, and this is the, I call it the vulva here. Okay, we can see what happens there. This is again where you can create, where you can separate. This is like the cell splitting in two. A split cell, of course, going for creation. One could stay, whatever it is, or two people come together or they separate. But we see, of course, 1 plus naught, which is sexual. Again, we are covering sexual in different areas to show how the gods are here. The created God is in operation right here. The called God is in operation here. 3 as the divided, as divided, because the number 3 is also the divided God. So it's like the twins. The twins get divided at birth. So we have divided, excuse the writing, and we also had another one which is blessed. So that was the thing. God, of course, in the creation, however it was, but we saw that they were divided. There were two entities, and then they were blessed, and of course they were called. One's called Adam, one's called Eve, one's called female, male, or whatever it is. So we want, this is, let's stick to this here. By the way, I also want to share with you part of the story that I shared with you on my introduction. And this is very interesting in the sense of this does not happen to many people. When you are on the road to recovery, when you are wanting to recover, or when you have recovered, or when you are wanting to be whole, get experience a sense of wholeness, the universe is giving you all that you need to help you on your path. It sends, it forms miracles. I'm going to be short on this one. It's that I'm just wondering whether I should, because this might be a little bit longer than anticipated. Okay, I feel I'm going to have to do a separate video on this and really touch on this again. But however, I spoke about a young man who attempted to rape me in the introduction. And after many years, I was visiting a cousin of mine in hospital where she introduced me to her brother. Now, this is my cousin. Her mother and I are first cousins. And I discovered this as we go older, as it's the norm. I feel I'm going to have to really speak on this in another video to cover other areas of wisdom. And so, and I'm glad I didn't shake his hand at that time. But of course, exchanging names, and he said, and the cousin said, "Oh, meet my cousin, and cousin meet my brother." And then I said, "What's your name?" And then he told me, I feel it's okay for me to say, and he said, okay, Spirit says don't. And he told me his name. I said, "Where are you from?" And he said, of course, we both knew we were from St. Lucia. And I said, "Which part of St. Lucia?" And when he said Mikud, which is where I came from, I immediately said, "So, you should remember me then." Oh my God. If ever there was a way that anyone could instantly dig a hole and bury themselves 6 foot under. If you ever wanted to witness anything like that, that was the first time I witnessed such a thing. And so this story is to be continued. It's just to let you know the universe does present the answers and lets you know where you're at. Have I really been healed from this? It's going to put this person in your path and see how you behave, how you feel, then you know. That's what the testaments are about. Okay, so there we are. And then you can create. Right. So we saw how 10 has behaved. So we look at this and we also know that we have done 1 1 because it's 1 1. If we did 1 1, we get 7 plus 7. And of course, 7 plus 7 is 14 and 14 is 5. So we see how you can find yourself at the central point becoming new. Find yourself. This is where Christian says, when you're in Christ, you are a new creature. And this is the creature right here. This is when you become a snake. Now, a snake can be kind and it can be quite dangerous. So, maybe it's about how you handle the snake, how you are, but you become that. As you can see, 5 has a masculine part to it and a feminine part to it. So that's another thing. We have touched on that, but we can touch on this another time. So we can see how sexual can actually create where you can find that sense of wholeness. It can take you home in the womb. It can take you to the pyramid. It could take you in your house. It could take you to, the chamber, because all of this is 5 and sexual is key. The word key is 5. So this is creation right here. Okay. So let us look at, because we also did, so we have seen how sexual actually, that's creation, because we saw this in Genesis of chapter 1, verse 3, let there be light, and there was light. We see how 12 plus 12 becomes 24, and we see how 2 plus 4 is also 6. We know when we do the numerical value for the word 5, it gives us 6, because the gift was given of words and numbers. Words and numbers to get the full essence of any number, because we verbalize when we speak the word. We say 5. Are we talking about the numerical, the figure, or the word? So we need to look at both masculine and feminine aspect of language, which is the gift that we have been given, so you can get the full essence of how it plays out. Hence, we have the snake, the serpent. Okay. Of course, we saw one is serpent. The two serpents come together. They, come together. They form a tree. I'm seeing or hoping that this gives you a good indication of how trauma itself, as in the numerical value of 8, is a set. It actually has the seed to create after its kind because it's whole. It represents a template. The trauma itself is like it's the road maker, and who you could say cut and divided, of course, because it is in actual fact when the two freeze here, we could see that as a symbol of two threes together, because then that creates a set. I am free as W, you are free as W, and we come together. We could say that's a set, and of course, this is the set God. So, for someone who has been sexually abused, it is important to understand that you need to break